All right, so I went ahead and did another QP match with the Hellion. So this was my last match before the season finale for Quantified Performance. And yeah, I wanted to squeeze in one more match before the finale, hopefully to squeeze back up into the top 10 for general purpose. I did not do that. Oh well, at least I'm in the finale. Even if I'm not in the top 10, I'm having fun. So, as usual, go over gear, then talk about the gun, and then get to the match footage. So, like usual, green Caldwell bag, trigger cam 2.1 for the camera. Then for the gun, I'm using AAC 77 grain OTM for the ammo. Rifle hasn't really changed at all for the season. Still using the Silencer Omega 36M. Still got the Magpul bipod. Using my 3D printed knuckle guard. March 1.5 to 15. If anyone is watching this video and doesn't know, currently this fits into GP for general purpose. However, next season it will not. So, I don't know. Next season I may switch guns, I may switch optics, I don't know. We'll have to see. The only thing that has changed for this match in terms of gear is I now have a bubble level. This is the Fix It Sticks bubble level. I didn't use it. I put it on the gun and then forgot it existed. So basically it was just there to look cool. This time around, I think what I'll do for the footage, since this match really didn't go that well for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the stages with no commentary, nothing like that. I'm going to order them from my worst performance, or actually, let me clarify. When I say worst performance, I'm going by how I felt about the stage, not necessarily how I placed in the stage, because there were some stages that I placed okay, that I was not happy with, and then there were some stages that I placed poorly, but I was pretty happy with. So I'm gonna go in order of how I felt about the stage. Go through all of them, then we'll go through them all again, and I'll give my thoughts about the stages.
Ready? Stand by. I was waiting Quentin last night, so we're trying to nice shot. 6360. 6360? Yes, sir.
You ready?
I am on razor cool.
Spotters up. Stand by.
Put that in my collectible. Never know what you got. That's a factor. Yeah, that comes down. Nice. I love seeing guys use stuff. Supposed to make it is. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, these guys are smart. Use this bipod. Check that out. Right. Oh. Okay. I think he's done that once or twice. Where did he hit it?
I think I'm gonna throw this on the rail first. Throw it down and then grab it and throw it on the rail next. Or even if you want to throw it on that rail and have it waiting for you.
Then you gotta move. You got that.
Hey!
Let's see, you don't want that.
Time. Is that a hit on the left? On the
Yeah, it was.
Okay. 89.48.
I've already said, yeah, I know what they want me now.
I like how it says.
So from this angle,
It's looking dirty now.
Hit!
you might have,
Hit!
you might have missed on the left, but I see it on the right because
Hit!
You're fine.
you're seeing it
Hit!
there.
Hit!
Right side. It picks up the
Hit!
4, 7, 2, 6.
Are you ready?
No. Well, yeah.
Stand by.
Dude, look at how dirty that sucker is. That's your nice.
Nice.
Good. Bro. I love seeing the Hellion do well. I love it.
Stand by. Hit! 56-42, 5642.
You ready? Yep. Stand by.
Nice.
Load and show clear. I got 2792.
Is the shooter? Stand by.
No.
Get it in. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, you're good.
Yep.
Stand by.
You're gonna have to get a whole lot closer.
Yeah.
Hit! 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 Hell yeah! That's a good run. 2, 5, 3, 4. 2, 5, 3, 4.
Okay, so stage 1 was the first stage of the day. On this stage, really the reason I did so poorly was mainly I just took forever to actually pull the trigger on my gun. And the reason I took so long on these targets was because I was kind of in an awkward shooting position. You can kind of see in the footage that when I put my bag down, I'm sort of off on the left side of the bag, so I'm not resting the gun on top of the bag. It's sort of on the side. The reason I had to do that was mainly because my bag is pretty thick and the tripod was set up pretty tall. So if I wanted to set the gun down on top of the bag, the gun would be too high up for me to get a good cheek weld and sight picture. So I had to bring the gun lower down, which meant I had to scoot the gun kind of off the side. It was not a very good first stage. I did have my smaller bag with me, but I just, for whatever reason, decided to use the bigger bag, and that really cost me on this stage. All right, so the next stage that I have up here is not stage 2. This stage is stage 5. Like I said, I'm going in order of the stages I was least happy with to the stages that I was the most happy with, and stage 5 followed stage 1 in terms of the worst stages of the day. That was mainly just because of this second target at long range. So this target is right at about 400 yards, and for whatever reason, I just really struggled hitting it. It was difficult for me to spot my misses on this target. You can sort of see in the footage, first of all, I don't really have my parallax set perfect, so it's a little bit blurry. And then the berm there is in the shadow, so any dirt that's getting kicked up, it's just hard to see. So I couldn't really tell where I was missing. Thought I was off right, thought I was maybe low. It was just, not ideal. And then, of course, not being able to use a bag in these ports either is a little bit tricky. The way I ended up shooting this stage, you can see I flipped out my bipod and kind of pressed the gun up against the wall of this shipping container. And that works fairly well. It's definitely not as stable as a good bag, but it works. And unfortunately, since it took me so long to get those hits, I timed out on this stage. All right, next up is stage 3. This one we were shooting these Bigfoot-shaped targets, and I guess watching this footage back, I think the main thing that I'm doing wrong is whenever I break the shot, I'm aiming at a really narrow part of the target, so right at its waist, basically. And so whenever I break a shot, a lot of the times it's right at the smallest part of the target. So I might be missing just off the sides. All right, so next up is stage 8, which is MRQ. This is one of the standardized stages for Quantified Performance. Starting off, those 2 standing shots went off great. And then on the ladder, I'm sort of okay with this. I do a decent job getting my hits. The main issue, again, is just slow. It just takes forever for me to get these shots off. Now, the actual hit rate, like the number of misses versus hits I had, was not too bad. I think the worst one I did was three shots, 2 misses, 1 hit. So the actual accuracy part was not necessarily bad. It's just I just take so long to get to a comfortable position to pull the trigger. All right, so stage 4. This is one of the stages where I was actually pretty happy with how I did, despite how I placed. I didn't place very well, but I thought that how I did was pretty good. And the main reason I thought it was pretty good was because, first of all, these far targets are right about 380, 385 yards, and they're relatively small. And I still managed to hit them with not too much trouble from on top of the balcony. And then when I moved down to the ratchet strap, this is where I was actually really happy, because at a previous match, the ratchet strap has really killed me. This time, the way I sort of mounted up on the ratchet strap, I was pretty rock solid, as you can see here. There's not really much bounce to it, which is what I've experienced in previous matches. So the way I did it this time is the way I'm going to have to do it from now on. I wish you could see exactly how I was mounted up there, but I kind of put my camera in a poor spot. So that's my fault. All right, so stage 6. This one went pretty well. The biggest issue here is just I got really sloppy on the close range targets and kept sending shots over their heads. But other than that, it went pretty well. I didn't have any troubles on the 400-yard targets. It's just those 200 yards I was just getting in a rush, I guess. All right, so next up is stage 7. This was the long range stage. We had a target at 600, 800, and 1,000. Now going into this stage, I knew based on the previous match that I had done out here that I had issues with my dope at 800 and 1,000 yards. So what I decided to do was, instead of hold whatever, instead of holding those, I decided to actually just straight up dial them. That way I could actually get a good idea of what my dope should be when I come back and edit this footage later. So you see I had to aim low there at 800. And again, I'm aiming a little bit low at 1,000. In these first few shots, I don't see where my shots are going. And so I decide to send one, just straight up at it. And then I hold about 2 mils low and send one. And I finally spot splash. So I make a correction, make a few little minor corrections, and eventually I get it. So based on that, I had to hold about a 1.3 mils low. So I moved down to the 800-yard target, get it with one shot, move to the 600, and the timer goes off right as I get to the 600-yard target. So the main things with this stage. So first of all, that 600-yard shot, I heard the timer go off, and I decided to send the shot anyway. Now, the Quantified Performance rules state that you have 0.3 seconds after the timer goes off to count the hit. So if I had hit that target and I was at 9.25 or 90.25 seconds, it would have counted. I was at 90.8, but I told the RO, don't count that. I deliberately sent that shot after the timer went off. I knew the timer had gone off. It should not count because it was a deliberate choice on my end to shoot that shot. Regardless of how I felt, it was at 90.8, which is half a second behind 90.3. So, what I thought didn't matter anyway. So as far as what was going on at 1,000 yards, so I use Strelok, and when I plugged in 1,000 for Strelok with all the weather data, it gave me a hold of 14.1 mils, which is more than has happened at previous matches. I think usually at previous matches, it gives me about 13 mils of hold at 1,000 yards. Not sure why it's giving me that number now, but that's beside the point. Looking at this footage back, comparing, where I was holding before the shot broke and where the bullet was impacting at 1,000 yards, I had to hold about 1.3 mils low to get those hits. So when I plug those back into Strelok and have it calculate either the BC or the velocity, it's giving me numbers that are about 100 feet per second faster than what they should be. And if I adjust the BC, it goes up from 0.362 to about 0.39, that's a pretty big discrepancy. So I don't know if it's really either of those. Unfortunately, I didn't chronograph my rifle this day before the match started, so I don't know if I have a new lot of ammo that's faster. I don't know. I'll have to check that before the next match. But yeah, otherwise, I was pretty happy with this stage. Even though I didn't finish the stage, I'm pretty happy that I was able to get on target at 1,000. It's always pretty nice. All right, and then basically the best stage of the day in terms of my performance was stage 2, which is funny because it was following stage 1, the worst stage of the day. Basically, it just went well. I was quick onto target. I was quick to break the shots. I didn't miss. And then this transition right here was very smooth. That was nice. So overall, the stage just went pretty well. All right. So as far as the whole match went, I sort of placed middle of the road. So I placed 16th out of 29 overall. And then within general purpose, I placed 4th out of 8. So right smack dab in the middle. My total time was 456.78 seconds, but I had 60 seconds of penalties, so I ended up with 517.78 seconds, and I got 62 out of the 64 targets. Main takeaways from this match: the main thing I think I can do improve my score is build better positions and pull the trigger faster. Now that's hard because this rifle that I'm using is basically the worst rifle I can use if I'm trying to do those two things. Right? Because it's a bullpup, because it's all of its weight is back in the rear. When I put this rifle in a bag, I don't care what bag you're using. You could have the best bag in the world, and you will not get this rifle to rest on that bag because of the weight distribution. You'd have to put the bag right at the pistol grip, and that's just not happening. It's up to me to make sure I'm in a good position, to make sure that I am stable, to make sure, I'm doing everything on my part perfectly in order to get this rifle to be stable. And so that's what I need to work on with this rifle, is to just, be better in those aspects. And then in terms of breaking shots quicker, getting stable and getting onto target quickly is the main way to get that done. But then the trigger on this rifle is the next aspect that's holding it back. Because the trigger is very long and very heavy, it's hard to break shots in like a split second, as a split second decision, right? It's kind of difficult to sweep across the target, pull the trigger, break the shot in a very clean, consistent manner, and not miss, right? You can do that with, a nice 15, 20-pound AR-15 that has a trigger that's set at 1.5 pounds. But with this rifle, with this trigger, that's just not something I can do. So those, I think, are the two main reasons why I was slow at this match. So leading up to this match, over the course of the season, I've been doing fairly well. I had been in the top 10 for general purpose for Quantified Performance for quite a while. However, as the season has progressed, as other people have gotten more matches in, I slowly moved down the ranking and I'm no longer in top 10. I was hoping at this match that I could do pretty well and squeeze back up into the top 10. However, that's not happening. So I guess I'm going to the finale. I'm not shooting on the cool kid squad. I'm just going to, go and have fun, I guess. So I will be at the finale at the end of the month, and looking forward to that. Hopefully you stick around and check that video out when it comes out.